Hey everybody, it's episode 326.
Ditch or switch?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Prime Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Skip Wyss, and as always, I have the beautiful, wonderfully radiant Dr. Julie Wyss. I hope this lighting behind us doesn't fully wash you out today.
That's okay.
Got a lot of whiteness going on today.
Well, I got to make my sunscreen, and that keeps us white.
You know it, and your sunscreen works really, really well.
Oh, ditch and switch.
Ditch and switch.
There we
So let's,
go.
there's a lot of things in our lives, Dr. Julie, that we like to live a very chemical-free life. We try to eliminate as many chemicals as we can in our life. I think our patients at Prime Family Centers love that about us. We don't clean with a lot of bleach. We don't use a lot of harmful chemicals when we take care of our tables or just in ourselves too. We don't do a lot of things to our bodies that have a lot of excess toxin load to them.
Well, that's what we do for ourselves, what we do for our kids. So it'd be silly for us to do anything different in the place where we spend 90% of our life. And so that only just translates of why we don't use those chemicals on our tables that you're putting your skin and your face on. It's the same thing with our laundry detergent, which I'm sure we're going to talk about.
We are, because we get a lot of questions about ditching and switching. And it's actually really, really popular on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, like our channel too.
Maybe this will be a trending.
This is a big thing because people they want to live cleaner lives, meaning that they don't want to have a lot of excess crap in them. And I think 2020 was a big eye-opener for a lot of people, the COVID years of 2020 and 2021, where people were starting to live they were starting to get more clean and less toxic. The beauty of what happened in COVID is people had to stay in their houses, and then they started doing tons and tons of research and realized that for decades we've been having the wool pulled over our eyes and basically fed a bunch of toxic chemical crap into our houses, which is actually what's been making us sicker and sicker and sicker.
Well, and I could say sometimes it's easier, but it's really not difficult to make the switch. And, if that's not a reason to want to do it, it's the cost.
The sheer expense is crazy.
Like the stuff, like because somebody had asked for something and I went to look at the price, I was like, you've got to be kidding me, and I guess because that's just not the lane that I live in, that I don't even realize how expensive some of these things that people are buying weekly, monthly products. And it's so easy, and it feels very rewarding and fulfilling to realize that, just these couple of things and I can do this at home and my kids are better, my health is better, and it's so much easier.
I remember during that time period in our lives there, I had somebody come into our office and lost it on us because we weren't cleaning to the standards that she thought we were supposed to clean. And literally out of her mouth, she said, if you think this pandemic is going to get solved through elderberry syrup and white vinegar, you are terribly mistaken. And I will confidently tell you it was solved with a lot of elderberry syrup and white vinegar. So let's dive in, ditch and switch, okay? First things first, you mentioned it. Why don't we go there? Let's talk about sunscreens. Sunscreens is one of those things that actually puts a ton of chemicals into our body. We don't realize it because it's on our skin. We're told that it's designed to keep the sun's harmful radiation away from our skin and body. And it pumps us full of chemicals. It really does, because our skin, as much as it repels things, it absorbs things too.
What I would say, I think we need to step back because we've been trained to think that the sun is scary.
Yeah.
And that we don't want any sun, which is completely untrue. We need to have 15 to 20 minutes. We've talked about this in our sleep podcast and in vitamin D nutrition, but it is really, really important that we do get some of that sun exposure. And just before you go out, that you're lathering up right away, we need to wait at least 15 to 20 minutes. I'll just say that we need to have at least some sun exposure that includes your kids.
Yeah.
That's really important.
And so what I want to talk about though is ditching that commercial based crap sunscreen that we all buy. We're guilty of it. Me and you have bought it too.
In a pinch,
The
yeah.
spray-on stuff, the Equate stuff, the Walmart stuff, I don't care what company you're working with. If you're buying it in a bottle that actually can spray onto you, they're usually using an acetone in it to actually get it to come out of the bottle. Like it's
and
not
the stuff
okay.
that's to keep it liquid and then to keep it shelf stable. And like you think that you're just doing the sun protectant, which is zinc, but it's chock full of so many other harmful things.
So talk about your sunscreen that you make.
It came up this morning that if I would actually add up all of the supposed like SPF of all of the things that I put in, they'd be like SPF 200.
Yeah. And it's primarily in that you use shea butter, beeswax, you use an essential oil.
Vitamin E, different essential oils. But like the mango butter makes it nice and smooth that it can actually absorb into your skin. So like a really good like lotion, but then you're also with the zinc, you're getting a really good sun protectant from the UVA, UVB rays.
And yes, you have to reapply it
after you go in the water, because like that's a big part of like, oh great, this is waterproof. Well, as soon as something turns waterproof, that means that there's other chemicals that have to be in that to make sure that it sticks to your skin. So then if you don't go into the water, then that means, okay, how are you going to actually wash that off? It has to get absorbed into your skin and wear off. So again, another like just a warning to take note of that. So
and I actually hate the waterproof sunscreen feeling. That is a really weird, I don't like the texture on my skin. I don't like the way it feels. I can't wash it off right away. Like I don't like that. So ditch that traditional store-bought sunscreen. Dr. Julie, you guys can email us at info@Prime Family Centers, or you can email me directly, drskip@primefamilycenters.com, and we can get you that recipe. Or Dr. Julie can just make it and you can buy it from her.
I'm making some batches.
Yep, she's going to be making some batches up, that old Coco Loco, and that stuff's going to work amazing. Let's talk about white vinegar.
Yes.
Vinegar is one of those things that you can replace almost every household cleaning chemical with, is vinegar.
Yep.
Vinegar is an amazing product. Yes, vinegar is an acid. There is an acid to it, but vinegar can replace ammonia. It replaces bleach. It can replace any sort of heavy chemical if you're using anything on your floors. Fabuloso, all of those things that have those perfumes to them. Yes, your house will smell a little bit like a pickle.
But that's where I added an essential oil to it. So if you like the Pledge or the Gain, I don't even know the names of the stuff. The lemon scented things. You can put some lemon essential oil in that, and that's where like we're talking your floor cleaners. So like if your hands and knees or you're doing the dust mop, you can use it for your floors. You can use it to clean your countertops. What I absolutely love to use it for is also like your fabric softener that you put in the washing machine. So it makes your whiters whiter. You can use it as a laundry detergent. You put it in there, and then you can add your lavender, your lemon, your orange essential oil to it. So then you also get that smell. So it's coming out whiter. It's clean. Like it is just, you can use it for literally everything. You can put the different scents in it, and you can spray it through for a deodorizer for the air as well. And
how you use that when you're washing with it, you can add white vinegar into your pre-wash cycle. That makes all of your whites come out whiter.
The container. That's where you
makes your whites come out whiter. And then you use vinegar in your fabric softener side, and that makes your clothes soft. It's not the downy and the junk like that. Actually, that's really harmful for your clothes washer. People comment, one of the most common complaints about front load washing machines is that they mildew and they stain and they stink. Well, do you know why that happens? Because the actual soap that you're using is animal-based. It's an animal-based byproduct. It doesn't break down. It doesn't emulsify. And then what happens is it actually starts leaving scale and leaving bacteria behind, which makes your washing machine smell like absolute garbage. And what you can do is, if you need to clean your washing machine, a lot of people, they'll use those AFresh tablets. They'll go get the tablets. You know what those are? Those are baking soda and a harsh cleaner. So what you can use is 2 tablespoons of baking soda, throw in a couple teaspoons of vinegar. It'll foam up, but then just run a normal 20-minute wash cycle, or just hit washing machine,
clean washer,
and it runs that cycle, and it cleans the drum, it cleans everything, and it rinses clean. That's the key, is it actually rinses itself clean. And then you don't have all this mildew crap. And it's the same thing with dish soaps as well.
Yes.
Because, so no joke, we ran into this. So if any of you ever out there had that smelly, nasty sponge, and it stinks.
But it was sponges. It was brand new.
Well, I was getting to that, but please go on. Nope, go ahead.
It was the smell that you'd walk into the kitchen and be like, oh, what?
Why does it smell like?
It smells like dirty feet.
Mildewy, nasty dishwashing liquid. And there is a particular brand on the market that's blue. And it is used for everything, they say, and it's like easy on your skin, and they help treat animals with it when there's oil spills. Well, guess what? That stuff doesn't wash out. And that is why your sink stinks. That is why your expensive, a lot of these women out there, and a lot of these households, Norwex has come into a lot of these households. And that's why your Norwex cleaning pads stink. And why you have to spend a lot of money on getting those things actually clean with their own detergents, because they're full of nasty soaps. And we use our own soaps. You get stuff that's very, very clean. We use I can't even remember what we use. It's an orange scented thing. Yes, it doesn't get as soapy, so we use a little bit more of it. But guess what? Our stuff doesn't stink
because it doesn't have the byproducts, and that's where like you're actually using what you need. And like in our foaming that I use,
you make a foamer. Yeah, she makes a hand soap too.
Witch hazel. Witch hazel and just essential oils, and like and you just need the foaming hand soap.
You can buy those little foamer
there's some other things in my ingredients. We'll have to just connect. You can get all my recipes, but it's super simple, and it's literally cost me pennies.
And it smells really good. Yeah. You made one that's Christmassy smelling. You used some thieves in it. You would use some clove in it.
Cinnamon clove.
And then the summer one, it's got more lemon and lavender in it. And these things work great. They get our hands so clean, and they come out foam. Like it's a really nice foamy stuff. And if you look at the packaging, like you can buy these little powders and stuff, and it always says invigorating foam, re-energizing. I don't know.
Invigorate.
Yeah, yours is awesome. But that's the thing, is like, you can make this stuff for pennies on the dollar. You're keeping the chemicals out of your house, and you're actually helping your kids stay healthy, because all of this stuff, if it has antibacterials in it, it has triclosans in it. Triclosan is a cleaner that is antibacterial, but the issue with it is it also starts messing with your estrogen and progesterone stores in your body. Triclosans will do that. Also, what they don't tell you with a triclosan, like you would get in like a Clorox cleaner, is that it has to stay on the surface. It can't be wiped off. In order for a triclosan to be actually effective, it needs to stay on the surface and air dry, and that surface needs to stay wet for almost 15 minutes. If you actually read the back of your bottles,
how you're supposed to use it,
and how you're supposed to use it, it's got to sit on there. And that's microbiology 101. But because we have postgraduate doctorates, we went through that stuff in microbiology.
And that's where we physically have done the research. We've done the studies, and we
were in the labs.
We've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the labs. We did the cultures. You used to make the agar plates that you would swap stuff out.
And I think the concerning thing is okay, we look at maybe the ingredients, but lots of these are cancer-forming agents.
Yes.
And when you start to look at it, you're like, well, why would I ever put my child on that? Why would I ever use those things? And it's just because it becomes common that we're just going to use these things, or it's the easy thing, or I'm just going to use it this one time, or man, that person, like, they smelt really good from the detergent that they used, not realizing the lingering byproducts that are constantly rubbing up against our skin, that we are, washing our dishes with, that we're cleaning with, that we're constantly in contact.
Yeah, and I think what we have to look at too is every time we abrase our skin, like, our skin will go through different tissue changes. And when we have open cuts, open sores, or abrasions, it opens up our immune system to be attacked by outside bodies. And if you're constantly putting antibacterial things on your body, you keep the normal bacterial load off your skin. And there's normal bacteria on all of us. We were laughing because you remember, like, let's talk, like, we went to Cheesesteak Rebellion here in Green Bay over the weekend, and they had, and you're like, I knew exactly that scene in episode 1 where he was on there talking to Anakin Skywalker. It was Qui-Gon Jinn. He was talking to Anakin Skywalker, and he was talking about metachlorians and the amount of metachlorians he had in his system. Well, Brecken's like, what is a metachlorian, Dad? I'm like, he's basically talking about the bacteria that make you work and how it has a one-to-one and one-to-one symbiotic relationship with your body is the naturally occurring bacteria on your skin. And if you kill it with antibacterial hand soaps and different sanitizers, you directly negatively affect your immune system. Mm-hmm. And that's not okay, because then you're going to get sick all the time. And then your body's just,
then we wonder why everybody has a weakened immune system, why they're getting sick constantly. Just take a look at your environment. And you may not willingly or knowingly be doing it yourself, but if your kids are going to school, what are they eating lunch on?
Yep.
Right? What are they eating lunch off of? What are they cleaning the classrooms with? Mm-hmm. Like your kids are constantly being surrounded by these things, and you can try to have the clean home, but we need to understand, what is the environment, like where do you work? Like what are they doing there that you're constantly breathing? So now you're breathing these things in. It's just, we can't live in a bubble. So that's why we're doing this ditch and switch for these couple of things that we can start to just decrease that toxic load, because after a certain point, like our body is going to say, it's enough and I can't do this anymore.
It is enough. And I am not saying that you should never clean with like diluted bleach. Yeah. If there's a blood spill, if there's something like biohazard, bleach will kill everything. Mm-hmm. And there is a time and place for it.
Absolutely.
There really is. But not every day. We don't need to be doing that every day. In fact, this is an interesting thing. I have it wrote down on here, but acid water. So acidic water can be used as a cleaner as well, and it's a 2 to 3 molar water. And the reason why it's produced is that there's water machines out there right now that make what they call basic water. So what happens is it goes through a process, and the water is run through 2 different metal plates, and it changes the polarity of the water. And water sits at a neutral balance of 7. And what it does is it'll add more base to it to make it more basic. But because of that, there's going to be cast off water that's acidic. And it runs between 2, 3, and 4 mole. But what's interesting is that in Japan, they actually clean with this water. It's water that's just acidic in nature. And it's a higher acidic content. It's 2, 3, or 4 molar. And that type of molar water is extremely acidic, but it will kill everything. And vinegar is a very similar process to that in an acid. So you can put water with it and dilute it down. Typically, when we use vinegar in the house, we're usually doing 2 to 3 tablespoons per gallon of water. The more vinegary it smells, the more stronger it's going to be as a cleaner. The next thing we like to use, though, when we want more of a scent, or we like what we clean our tables off here at the office with, which isn't triclosans, Clorox, bleach, and all this other stuff that ruins tables, we use Thieves. Mm-hmm. And Thieves is awesome.
It smells good. It's a really great essential oil, but we actually use a Thieves cleaner. So then again, I know that, it smells great, but as I'm laying on it or our kids are on it, I know that I don't have to be worried about them smelling anything, licking the something, because it's safe.
Yeah, and what we found was during actually 2020, 2021, when we were required all of this PPE and all of this stuff, that when we were trying to use more of the triclosan based disinfectants, it destroyed our tables. When our profession, like our tables are very, very high quality. They have a high quality
Naga
hide / leather on it that can handle cleaners, that gets clean. It's antibacterial, but we still had to clean them off. And anything alcohol based just absolutely destroyed it. And when we found with Thieves, got it cleaner, faster, it actually dried quicker, and it smelled amazing. And our patients loved it. They always just thought it was Christmas. It smells Christmassy all the time. And that's a good scent. It makes everybody feel good anyways, right? Let's talk a little bit about the garbage disposal in our house.
Yeah.
Because they make chemical cleaners for garbage disposals as well, and you don't really need it.
But we also have citrus. It's, if it's a Tuesday, there's going to be limes going down the disposal. There's going to be oranges.
Tuesday at our house, there's limes because it's Taco Tuesday.
Yeah. So that's what we use to freshen up. So if it's putting down baking soda vinegar down there to help clean it, but then I'm always just dropping the limes and the oranges, the lemons down there, because then you grind it up, which is good. That cleans the grinder bits in the inside.
It does clean
but then you also get a nice smell
Yep.
when you're rinsing.
And what comes out of the peels of all of those? Citric essential oil. Mm-hmm. Whether it's lime, lemon, or orange, there's essential oils in every one of those peels that actually cleans stuff up really, really well. Really well. Let's talk about, last thing, let's talk about deodorants. Because deodorant is something that a lot of people started seeing the research on aluminum. And aluminum sitting in our skin, aluminum crossing the blood-brain barrier, aluminum maybe being linked to Alzheimer's and dementia. So a lot of people out there, including tons of our moms that come in and the moms that listen to this podcast, they're always looking for better deodorants.
This is the tough one.
It is tough because some of them suck. They don't work.
Like, yeah, and
they don't help.
You can choose the natural options. I think the biggest thing is understanding there's a difference between deodorant and perspirant.
Yep, antiperspirants.
Antiperspirant, but not all of each of those are the same, and especially when you're looking for a natural option. And the biggest thing that I found is when you're switching to that natural option, it's usually the baking soda is what you're reacting to.
That's what causes the irritation.
The irritation. So looking for options without that, and again, you can also go through an entire detox, then you won't have to use deodorant. You'll be smelly for a little bit, right? So you have to grant yourself some grace as you're going through that. But a really good, a good detox to do that. And that's where apple cider vinegar and the vinegar comes in and, doing that type of a cleanse. But really just being cognizant of aluminum. Yeah. Especially as if we have young kids, that was the struggle of the mainstream of, well, I'm just going to use the same thing that my mom or my dad uses, or just grabbing, the teen deodorant. We can't do that. We really need to be looking at the labels, and if nothing, really just opt for the aluminum-free options, because again, that is it's such a dangerous, balance to have. And aluminum is one of those things that just gets absorbed in the body and it just keeps getting added up. It's really difficult to get that out of the system.
It does. It compounds, and you can't leave it. It can't leave, so you have to detox it out. And I'll tell you a story. Back when I was younger, you may not know this. When I was in my teens, I used to deal with really bad acne. Obviously, you knew that. But deodorant-wise, I was always given a deodorant that's O and an S. And what had happened is that when they were giving me the stuff that was clear roll-on, my armpits would actually break out, and I would get cystic acne in my armpits. And it was horrible. And it hurt like hell, number one. It smelled horrible when those lesions would open, and they were just full of crap, And the thing is that that's what you're putting into your body on a daily basis. And unless you have acne, and the only beautiful side of acne is it tells you when you're toxic, is that you don't have that indicator. So you're just constantly putting these things in. And the thing is that here in your armpit, that's your axillary tails to your breast tissue. Men and women both have these, and that's actually major lymph flow through there. So you're absorbing a lot of this garbage that can be negatively affecting you and actually carcinogenic. So it causes cancer, it causes issues. And there's never been, the thing is though, is I'd love to see a long-term study on the rates of certain antiperspirant uses versus the prevalence of breast cancer in men and women, but in women, and that there's actually being caused in their axillary tails versus the lower breast tissue and things. So you get it. So I'm sorry, but I think you understand what I'm talking about there. So Dr. Julie, is there anything else you feel that people can easily ditch and switch in their life?
Oh man, we have tons more products. We almost have to do like a two-parter for this because we just got into spring, but bug spray. There's just tons of things when you start looking at it, and we're talking like more chemically type things, but it's the same thing within your food pantry. That it's super easy. Instead of using, again, like you look at a label at one point, and then a couple weeks later, the company gets bought out or they change the recipe. You really need to constantly be looking at the ingredients because they're switching things, and the oils that are being introduced into products, the byproducts, the things to increase the shelf life. Those are all things that aren't, like, they're man-made things. They're not meant to be edible and consumed, and that's the harmful things that we're constantly putting into our body.
Well, yes. And the deodorizers and stuff they're
Yeah.
using in these things are causing major problems. So let's do another one on ditch or switch for kitchen, for at home, for cooking.
We could do the whole house.
Yeah, we can do, and we'll be doing these for you. This is a great idea. We'll continue to do this for you. Let us know if you like this one and if you like where this content is going. That's super important for Julie and I.
I'd love to hear in the comments below, do you have a ditch or switch, and what do you do for your family? And leave that below, and maybe we'll enter everybody into a drawing.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So again, share this to as many people as you can. Dr. Julie and I are on a mission to get this to over 1,000 subscribers this year. And this is one that everybody wants to know. Everybody's looking forward. And you have two actual professional healthcare people that are telling you how to do this properly and keep your family safe and healthy at the same time and get all those nasty chemicals out of your household. Take care, everybody. Go out there. Have a great day. Bye.